Well, good morning, and welcome to our third conference. And we are very excited to have you here. And before I get started on my presentation, I just want to make a few comments on some of the things that David just said. The first thing that caught my attention was that we are an ecosystem of partners. I think that really rang true for me because when we work with our customers, or whether we work with our vendors, or whether we work with our partners, we take the relationship very, very seriously. And we think of ourselves as kindred spirits with them because we are working on very important big strategic goals for them, which become very important big strategic goals for us. So I just wanted to get started with that. And then another thing that he talked about, which also elicited a lot of questions, was how do you solve the problem of communicating the needs from the energy management department or folks that are actually working to solve the energy use, sustainability, energy management problems to finance and the CFO. And some of what we are doing here is key and critical because good data provides you the leverage to make your case and make the arguments that would really get a response that you require, because ultimately you are trying to do the right thing by saving money and saving energy. But how do you make that case so that it is clear? And good data can be very useful in providing that leverage. So once again, very excited to have this group here. And I want to start with our vision. The vision and goal for this company is to really become the data standard for energy data and commodities data. And that's what we are focused on. And that is our only focus. So what does it really mean? We want to be able to provide this data on a global basis. We want to be able to provide the data for all the different commodities. And we want to be able to provide this data in a way that is eminently usable by you, our partners and customers. And once again, going back to the ecosystem that David talked about, this is an ecosystem, and we are here only because you guys have made us successful. We are providing something that you need, and we take that mission very, very seriously. I'm very pleased to be able to say that we are now connected to over 2,600 utilities on a global basis. And this is not only an important figure in itself, but we are also adding about 100 utilities a month. And that pace has increased tremendously in the past 12 to 18 months. And this pace will keep on going up. Because as you know, once you start looking at the ecosystem of data providers to us, the utilities, there's a long tail. There's that little muni in a little town in Michigan, or some utility in Africa that we haven't gotten to yet. So we are very, very focused on ensuring that we are able to provide coverage that our customers need. So once again, Verdantix puts out this magic quadrant. They call it the green quadrant. And I think David introduced us. This has all the different companies in the ecosystem. And we are really proud to say that over 50% of the companies represented in the green quadrant are already using Urjanet. And we are talking to many more, and we believe that we should be partnering and doing business with many of the leading companies in the energy ecosystem. But more importantly, 75% of the leaders use Urjanet. So and 75% of the innovators use Urjanet. So there is a great correlation between being able to access good data and use good data and success as a leader or an innovator. And we are really proud to say that we have a great set of customers. You are always known by the company you keep. And I can say that we are in very good company with the kind of customers we have. And we look at our customers, and we are very thankful for the position that we are in. Our business is growing. We are not only making progress on expanding revenue and all the financial metrics, but more importantly, we've doubled or tripled the number of accounts that we are processing, and that pace is picking up because I think in the next probably 18 months, we are looking at several million accounts that are going to go through our system on a monthly basis. So this company is about technology. It is about innovation. As for those of you who know our background, we got started at Georgia Tech, so this is home for us. So welcome to our home here at Georgia Tech. Our technology and platform came out of some research that was being done here, and we have always had a strong connection to that technology and innovation wellspring that is College of Computing and College of Economic Development. We are also seeing that technology and innovation is not only provided us the platform that we have, but it is also transforming some of what our customers are able to do. And I will talk about a few things that we have launched and how they are being used by some of our customers. So what do you see in this picture? Most people will say they see a pile of trash. But our customers see an opportunity to redirect this waste from landfills to something which is usable again. And they see this as a way of improving the environment and ultimately saving money. So our data is helping these customers not only understand these opportunities, but are also enabling them to really act upon these opportunities. And I'm going to point out that Rubicon, who is one of our partners, is going to talk about some of the very unique and innovative solutions they are bringing to the waste industry. We have launched data collection for energy. Most people know that, but we have also added other commodities that include water, waste, now telco and cable. So water is becoming really, really important. And the reason water is important is managing water use is very key to our future. Right now, it's a big challenge for the industry. It is a big challenge for agriculture. So it really becomes a very, very big challenge for all of us. And once again, data is very, very critical to managing water use. And our data is helping our customers not only find better ways of managing water use, but you have to start by understanding water use. How much are you using, and when are you using it, and what you can do to then reduce the usage and once again save money, but also very important, they make decisions that are socially responsible. So I am still amazed that we are processing paper in 2015, right? I wake up most mornings and say, we are still processing paper in 2015. What are we going to do today to change that, right? So the fact that a lot of our industry is still living in the past has given us the opportunity to make things better. So one of the things that we have taken to heart is that instead of having this long, antiquated process, we want to make your data be available instantly, right? Most things you can go on the internet and put in a query and you immediately get a response. But the world we live in, especially with utility data, that is not true. And at Urjanet, we have taken this mission seriously, and we will be launching products that make this data available on demand. And some of the things that we will be talking about in a later part of the presentation is how we are doing that, because this immediately and really changes how people can use utility data. If utility data is going to come a few days into your week after after the event has already passed, that is a lot different than if you were able to, through your application or by going to the internet, be able to get access to that information immediately and be able to use it. That opens up a whole new set of applications that are not possible today. We know that utility pricing is complex, and I will have to say that utilities have made it like that because that's sort of a model that ensures that you have better economics for the utilities. But this pricing complexity comes in the way of finding solutions, and especially for folks that are buying electricity or other commodities from many, many different utilities. So we are happy to announce that we are launching a product. There are about 54,000 different utility tariffs in the US alone, right? So how do you get a handle on all these tariffs and rate plans and pricing? So we are launching a product called the Utility Rate Index, and we will be talking again some more about it later on, that cuts into this complexity at one place. It is able to provide you all this information so that you can use it for different purposes. And one of the things that our customers are looking at using it for is for alternate energy, because it really helps you determine where you should deploy alternate energy system, where you should put a PV system, where you should put a wind farm. And when you make that investment into an alternate energy system, what is your payback and what is your time period for payback? So important product. As I mentioned before, going global has been a big part of our mission in the past year. So once again, we have launched our service in about 20 different countries, starting with Europe and Latin America. And we will be putting more focus on providing this capability across the world. One of the things we noticed is that we do business with large multinational companies, and their need does not stop at the US border, right? Their need goes all the way to understanding their energy use cost and making sure their sustainability initiatives work across the world. So we've taken that seriously, and you will see us being able to provide you utility data from more and more geographies and more locations. Last thing I want to talk about is our self-service platform. And this is a game changer. I really do think that this can really cut into the curves and the graphs that David was talking about, where you have smaller companies who have a higher cost and larger companies who have a higher cost for different reasons. But having a self-service system where you can go in just like any other commercial application that you use today and be able to set up your utility management system and be able to get visibility into what is going on, be able to manage what data you are getting without sort of a lot of interaction, without a lot of people coming into place, without having to deal with spreadsheets, makes it eminently more usable. So we have launched the first version of our user interface that provides this service. And then we are going to be working on improving this. And once again, it changes the paradigm of use for utility data. So the last thing I want to say is very excited to have you here. This is a party, have fun. A lot of good people around. So please network. We do have some of our partners showing their applications, some very exciting applications. Welcome and thank you.
Questions?
Thank you. Michael Britt with Southern Company. I was wondering about the 2,600 utility connections. That's obviously an enormous number. Majority of those in North America?
Majority of those are in North America.
Okay, so a large number of the utilities already, 3,000 or so in the US, so a large number of the US utilities connected. What's involved with a connection? In what way are you connected, say, to my utility or other utilities? Do you have a connection as a result of access through customers saying, I'd like you to manage my energy? Is that a connection, or is there a deeper relationship or connection between the utility and Urjanet directly, or is it through the customer?
That's a more complex question than you would think, because
okay.
Utilities have different infrastructures and different programs for customer care, billing, et cetera. So we have connections where we go directly into utility billing systems, and we have very sophisticated interactions with utilities, right? On the other extreme, we have a guy in a small city, probably a few hundred people. The mayor is also the trash collector, and he sends me a little written note that says that, hey, that's your bill, right? So it can vary tremendously between the different utilities, what commodity you're working with. So we have several different types of connections that we use, but our goal is to have 100% coverage. Even if I have to send somebody out in a truck to note down what the bill was, we will do that. But what we want to do is use more sophisticated approaches to ensure that the data is automated. And that is happening. I mean, our industry has taken a little while to get into the 21st century, but it is happening, and that will change tremendously in the next few years.
Yeah, it's just an enormous number of utilities to connect with. I don't think you get 2,600 utilities to email you back, right? So, I mean, that's an enormous number. You know, they always say, how does a utility executive kill himself? Jumps in front of a glacier. So, I'm just wondering, I'm from a utility, and I know how things go. So that's an enormous accomplishment, so congratulations.
Thank you. I like that quote. I'll use it.
Other questions? Okay. Thank you.
He's got a question.
Oh, okay.
I could probably have talked loud enough, but at any rate, I'm Bert Jones, and I was interested in the self-service model, and if you think about the potential for energy savings as a whole, let's say across the world, the self-service model will enable more small providers or small consumers then to manage their energy data and therefore reduce consumption. So how do you look at the percentage of overall possible reduction? Is it the very large players that you've already made big inroads with, or is it these small players, small consumers, where the real overall potential for energy reduction might lie?
Yeah, thanks, Bert. That's a great question, and I could really talk for hours about our self-service model because I'm really excited about it. Self-service and on-demand really provide you the capabilities of going down market. And when we started off, we really started working with the bigger players, and a lot of you are represented here, because we could sort of address a need at a very scalable basis. But what this does, the self-service and the APIs that we are putting out and the user interfaces that we are providing for interacting with your system, what they do is they really lower the bar in terms of who can use and access it. And they also change the user paradigm. One of the biggest problems that we have today is we can really measure energy use, right? You can probably understand with your Nest thermometer how much energy your appliance might be using. By lowering the temperature by 5 degrees, you may cut down the power usage by so many kilowatt hours. But we are not able to relate that to the economics. I really don't still understand how much money I'm saving, right? So some of the things that we are doing with providing these capabilities is to be able to provide data to those kind of users, to provide data directly to the thermostat, or provide data to a solar installer who needs to understand, who needs to look at a history for a particular residential client to understand whether it makes sense to put that PV panel on their roof. So there's a lot of new applications that it will engender and also really help us go down market.